Yeah, sorry guys, sorry for delay. Yesterday we discussed about data types, basic data types, list and tuple set we discussed. I'll show a quick declaration of data types. This is the syntax for declaration of list, just square brackets. This is the syntax for declaring tuple. This is the syntax for declaring set. Now today we will discuss about dictionaries. Dictionaries is also one of data type. Let me remove this. Dictionary is also one of the data type in Python. Dictionary is used to store key value pairs. I'll show. This is the syntax for declaring a dictionary. If you observe, syntax of set and syntax of dictionary is same. Brackets is same, but inside we have to change small declaration part here. To store key value pairs, we will use dictionary. For suppose I want to store name inside a name variable. I'll store like this. One minute, I think. Yeah, this is the code for declaring a dictionary. Simply, I will type. This will use it to know the type of the data type. Sorry, these all are marked down. Yeah, I got class dictionary. Dictionary is used to store key value pairs. That is the main purpose of dictionary. Now we will access item from dictionary. Here in dictionary, this called key. The values assigned to that key is a that's a string value assigned to a key. It's called name. We will access these values with the help of keys. For suppose the square bracket, inside this I will pass key. Now I will get output as my value. In general purpose, we will use where we want to store like user information. In real time we will use dictionaries there. Now I'll create one more dictionary here, dict2. For example, I want to store user information like a user name and phone number. In this situation, I will use dictionary instead of using a list. We won't get like value information. For suppose if I define these values inside a list, here we can't identify which is name, which is number. So that purpose we have this dictionary. We will create one key. For that key, we will assign one value. In same way, we can define any number of keys and any number of values. No limitations are there. We will access these values by specifying keys. You will give key here. You will get value as a output. For suppose I want to add new key to the dictionary. Dict2 square brackets double quotes. Inside that I'm giving address equal to HYD. We are adding address key to the already existing dictionary, like we are updating or we are modifying. If you see now, address is added at the end. In this way, we will update our dictionary. Even we can modify values inside dictionary. For suppose dict2 name. If you press enter now, it will give output as a Sai. Here I will give assignment operator equal to. I am giving my full name. That's it. Now this name, the key name value is changed, updated to new value. In this way, we will update these key values. Even we can remove items from dictionary. Dict2 dot remove. Here we have to give key name. Everything we will access these values by key name only. I will give name. 1 minute. Yeah, pop method is there for dictionary. We will give pop. Inside this pop, I will give key name. The name is removed from my dictionary. If you want to know what are the methods have for dictionary, just give like this. Dict2 dot. After that, enter. Click on tab. You will get one drop down here. You will get all methods, like what are the methods, inbuilt methods on the dictionary. We have update, we have set default, pop item, pop, keys. For suppose I will give keys here, what will happen? We have to give brackets after that. Yeah, I got list of keys. For suppose you have big dictionary, you want to know all keys of that dictionary. In that situation, you will give dict2 dot keys, like dictionary name dot keys. In same way, we will explore some more methods here. Clear, that will clear all your dictionary. We will do that last. Yeah, we have get as well. Yeah, one more thing I want to add here. For suppose this is a way to access the value inside the dictionary, right? Now I'm giving address. I got output value of address. For suppose I don't have one key. For suppose pin code in my dictionary. Wait a minute. Before that, I will print dictionary. Now in my dictionary, I have only phone number and address. But what I am giving here, I'm trying to access the key which is not available in the dictionary. So it is going to throw an error. This is the error, most recent call 1 dict2 pin code, key error. Key error means like a key is not present inside the dictionary. If you are trying to access the key which is not available in the dictionary, that will throw an error. If we don't want to mess up with error, we can use get method here. For suppose get, I given address here. I got HYD. Why? Because address is there. Now I will give pin code. you didn't get any error. Actually, inside your dictionary too, you don't have pin code, but you are trying to access that. In normal way, you will get error and your code execution will stop there. If you don't want to mess up with error, you can use dict2 dot get method we can use here. Uh, we can use delete method as well. 1 minute. We will execute this as well. Items dictionary dot items. This will return all your values inside your dictionary, like whatever the key value pairs are there, you will get list of those items. If you want keys, you will get only keys with dict2 dot items. These are the basic operations on dictionary. Like syntax will look like same, curly brackets, open curly bracket and close curly bracket. Inside, functionality will change. We have to give one variable, after that column, after that value. This will be your key, this will be your value for that key. Even we can use numbers as a key. I'm creating one more dictionary here, dict3 1 colon first user. One minute, guys. Yeah, now I created a dictionary 3. Here I given key value is a number, value is a first user, and again I am giving 2 as a key and second user as a value for that key. Now I can access in this way, like directly I give number here, I will get output. Key should be maybe it may be string, it may be number. You can use anything. You can use number or you can use string as a key. In future, we are going to do some assignments on these data types, or maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow I'll give some assignments. You have to submit to us. Uh, we are done with all data types: list, tuple, sets, and dictionaries. If you have any doubts, you can ask now. If no doubt means I will go for next topic. We have operators topic. Next topic we will discuss operators today. If anyone having doubt, just ping on chat or yeah. Okay. I will share this notebook today in group. Why? Because yesterday we were finished till sets only. Today we added dictionaries to same notebook. Now I'm going to new notebook, which is operators. Just a minute. I will name this as operators. Yeah. Now we are going to start new topic, operators. Operator is a special symbol that carry out arithmetic or logical computation. I think if we discuss about operators, you will get a clear clarity. By reading this single line, you don't understand much, but uh, I will explain each and every operator. You will get some clarity after this class. Operator is nothing but a special symbol that having some special purpose there. We have 5 different types of operators. Assignment operator. 1 minute. We have assignment operator, comparison operator, logical operators, membership operator, identify operator. If you are coming from another language like Java, C, C++, these three operators are common: assignment operator, comparison operator, logical operator. But these membership and identify operators are new in Python. Like in you will see these operators in Python only. First of all, we will discuss about assignment operators. This is a table. I'm going to explain about each and every operators I prepared today: assignment operators, comparison operators. What are these operators? What is the syntax for this operator? I'm going to update now. Later, we will perform operations on these operators. You will get clear idea about this. 1 minute. I'm creating new cells here for executing code. Yeah. Inside assignment operators, we have 5 operators. We will discuss about this. First one is equal. Just equal. We will use this operator to assign values to variables. For suppose a equal to 5. Here we are assigning 5 value to the variable a. You are clear about this assignment operator. In same way, we have new operators here. A plus equal to. This is also one more assignment operator. Before equal to, you will give plus. After that, we'll give some number 7. What here doing means inside a we have 5. We are adding 7 to that 5 with plus equal to. Like this is addition and assignment operator. Addition and assignment operator. This will work in same way like a equal to a plus 7. First of all, let me execute this one. A plus equal to 7. Inside a we have 12. How we got 12 means actually here it's happening a equal to a plus 7. First execution will start from right side. Inside a we have 5. Here 5. We declared a equal to 5. Inside a we have 5. 5 plus 7 is 12. We are assigning this 12 to a. So the value inside this a is updated to 12. In cell 1 a equal to 5, but when we are executing this code, this 5 added 7 added to 5, and this complete 12 value added to a. This is all about addition and assignment operation. In same way, we have subtraction, multiplication, and division. These all works in same way. First, uh, we will have initial value inside a. We'll update that value with operator. Later, we are assigning same value to the a. In same way, we can see negative means subtraction equal to. If you want, you can guess answer. You can send in a chat. Inside a, we have 12 now. I'm subtracting 2 from 12. you observe a equal to 10 we got. Simple. Logic is same here. A equal to a minus 2. This is the logic applied on the variable. This is equal to this symbol, like negative equal to. In same way, we have multiplication and we have division. I will update these example and description sections. In section, it will take a lot of time. Example is okay, but description we have to write something there. After finishing session, I will update these all examples and description, and I will share this notebook with you. I think you got idea about assignment operators. If it is single equal, we are assigning a value. If same equal with some arithmetic operation, we are combining both operations like subtraction and assigning, addition and assigning. First addition will take place. After that, assignment task will executed by Python program. I'll write same way here. A multiplication by 5 or 2. I think 5 multiplied by 2 times. In same way, division equal to 10 or 2.5. It's applied 2 times. Okay. These are the assignment operators. Now we will go for comparison operators. These comparison operators are used when we want to compare two values. I will show that. In comparison operators, we have double equal, not equal, greater than, less than, greater than or greater than equal, or less than equal. Here, a equal to 5. This means I am assigning 5 value to the a. A equal to 5. Here means I am comparing right side value with left side value. Inside a, I have, for suppose here I will take 100. This double equals, it will compare both values, left side and right side values. In some situation, we want to compare the variables inside the value. In that situation, inside a we have 5. 5 equal to 100. Here means simple. 5 equal to 100. You will get binary output like a boolean value, true or false. For all comparison operators, you will get same value. In assignment operators, we will get value as a output, but in comparison output operator we will get boolean data type. Maybe it is true or maybe it is false. Only two outputs we have here. I will make it as a comment. Nothing but we are comparing two variables. We got false here. Well, because 5 equal to 100 means definitely 5 not equal to 100. So we will get false. If I give 5 here, I'll get true. This double equal operator will use in many scenarios. While doing projects, you will get to know about this. The main purpose of this comparison operator is the value inside the variable, you want to check whether it is a desired variable value or it's having some garbage value. We want to check that. In that situation, we will use double equal to. Next, we have not equal. The symbol for not equal is exclamatory mark. After that, equal. This is the symbol. A not equal to 5. I'm getting again Boolean data type value is it. Why? Because inside A we have 5. I'm saying 5 not equal to 5. That is false, right? That's why I got output false. If I say 100 here, now I am telling 5 not equal to 100. That means true. So that's why I got true here. Yeah, A not equal to 100 means it's true. Inside A we have value of 5. That's why we are getting true output here. Next we have greater than. Now we will take two variables, A equal to 10, B equal to 20. Now I'm telling A greater than B. Inside A we have 10, inside B we have 20. Now I'm telling A greater than B. Definitely it will throw false. Why? Because 10 is less than 20. If I change this value, I will change A value to the 100. Now I will get true value. In all comparison operators, you will get output as true or false. In same way, we can use A less than B. Will get false. Because you are telling 100 less than 20. That false. Next we have greater than equal and less than equal. For suppose to understand better this, now I am taking x value is 10 and y value is also 10. Now I am telling x less than y. Again, I'll get false. Why? Because these are two values. I'm telling x less than y. Definitely it's not less than y. X equal to y. So we are getting false. In that situation, we can use x less than or equal to y. We'll get true here. Why? Because first this will check for less than or greater than operator. After that, it will go for assignment, like both values are equal or not. If that failed, x is less than y. In simply, we are performing two operations here. First, we will check for less than or greater than. If that is falling, then we will go for equal operator, like both values are equal or not. Again, x greater than or equal to y. We got true here as well. These comparison operators are useful when you're working with if-else condition. Mostly, we will use these comparison operators. That's all about comparison operators. Next, we have logical operators. You may aware of it in engineering. We all studied this, and or not logical operators. 1 minute. Let me add these cells. First of all, logical operators work based on in comparison operators. How means? For suppose we have two conditions. I will say condition 1 and condition 1 and condition 2. I want to verify these two conditions are true or not. In that situation, we will use AND operator. For suppose I want to know condition 1 is satisfied and condition 2 is also satisfied. For suppose I'll give 1 less than 10 and 100 greater than 20. Now, now I want to check two conditions here. Just I'm taking here numerical conditions, 1 less than 10 and 100 greater than 20. Here we are satisfying two conditions. 1 less than 20 is true, 100 greater than 20 is true. Then AND operator will returns true. Like both conditions should be true. In same way, I'll execute the same code here as well. I'm making this is a 200. Now we'll get false as the output. Why? Because first condition is satisfied, 1 less than 10, it's true. And we are giving 100 greater than 200, that is false. So we will get output as a false. If you are dealing with AND operation, you have to get both conditions. Condition 1 and condition 2 should be true. AND operator is mainly used to verify these situations only. We have two conditions. It for suppose in simple way, we will take one example. You have office, just assume you have office today equal to true. Is raining equal to true. Like you have a office, you have to go office, but it's raining outside. In that situation, for suppose you want to build some condition here. If you have office, you want to go office, then you have to take umbrella there. When you will take umbrella, these two conditions are satisfied. Like you have a office, true. Is raining, true. Or then you have to take umbrella. For suppose and is raining. 1 minute. I didn't execute this previous cell. That's why it's telling you have office is not declared. Yeah, we got true. Like these type of conditions. We have two conditions. We have to verify those two conditions are satisfying or not. In that situation, we will use AND operator. For suppose it's not raining, then false. You no need to take umbrella. Yeah, AND operator will work if two conditions are true. Then only this will give true. Otherwise, it will give false. But OR operator, 1 minute. In two conditions, we have two conditions, like condition 1 and condition 2. If one condition is satisfied, like if one condition is true, then OR value will be true. For suppose we will take same example here. You have office and is raining. I'm giving OR operator. Simple, no special syntax here for this logical operators. Simply you will type AND between two conditions, and simply you will type or in two conditions. You will get output here. Inside first variable we have true, second variable we have false, but till we will get true as the output. Why? Because this is the OR operator. Only one condition need to require true. If both are false, you will get output as a false. Yeah, false. In AND operator, both conditions should true. In OR operator, any one is true, you will get true. If both are false, you will get false. Next, we have NOT operator here. NOT operator simply reverse your output. For suppose for above statement, we are getting output as a false. Same statement I will keep inside NOT. You will get true. Actually, how this will execute means first it will start from inside brackets. Inside we have you have office today value is false, is raining false. So we got inside this bracket false. Like simply this value will be replaced by false. After executing first OR statement, your value is replaced by false. Inside NOT we have false, so we will get true. Simply if you have true, you will get false. If you have false, you will get true. Inside NOT. This is the purpose of NOT operator. Simply it will reverse your output. That's all about logical operators. Next, we will go for membership operators. Let me add some cells here below. For suppose, I will tell one example. I have one sentence here. I'll copy paste this sentence from Google. Suppose I went here. Uh, yeah, I copied this sentence. 1 minute. Now, inside sentence variable, I have some sentence here. Now I want to check in this sentence is not or there. Is in sentence. If is there inside this sentence, you will get true as a output. For suppose if you observe, we have is here. We have one is. For suppose I will type one more s. Iss is not there inside this sentence, so we got false. Is there inside this sentence, so we got true. In same way, I will explain this both. Uh, Sentence is a data type of string. We are verifying. We have some condition here. we have to verify some particular word inside the sentence is present or not. In that situation, we will use this in operator, like this membership operator. Just type your desired keyword, after that space your keyword in, after that your variable. This will verify this word, the your desired word inside the sentence or not. In same way, we can apply this operation on list as well. For suppose you have a list of fruits there, you want to verify one particular fruit is present or they're not. Fruits, yeah, this is the syntax for list, right? Apple. I defined one list with name of fruits. Inside we have apple, mango, and banana. Now I want to check apple in fruits. If for you, you'll get true. Why? Because apple is present there. For suppose I will give orange in fruits, I'll get false. Why? Because orange is not in my list. You can apply this in operator on list and on sentences. I mean on string type of data types. You can apply on list. When you are working in a project, you feel very lucky when you are using these operators. Otherwise, you have to run a for loop along this sentence. You have to match each word. It's matching with is or not. That's very big task. Not in means definite. This will throw a reverse output. For suppose is not in sentence, will get false. Yeah, already we discussed, right? Something somewhere you kept not, simply that will reverse output. If it is the true, you will get false. If it is false, you will get true. In some situation, you have to use that operator as well. This is all about membership operator in not in. Next, we have identify operators. These are used to compare objects. For suppose x equal to 10, y equal to 10, x is y. So why? Because x is referring to same value, y is referring to same value. I'll show it. ID of x. The main purpose of is operator is we want to verify these two objects are same or not. Just simply I will give x is y. I got true. Why? Because both are referring to same. If you observe address here, both are referring to same object. So I got true here. For suppose I will declare one more variable here, 20. Now I am giving x is y, x is z, will get false. Why? Because x is referring to 10, z is referring to 20. Definitely these two are two different objects. So we got option as a false. Next operator is not operator. Just simply this will reverse your output. For suppose x is z is false, right? Now x is not z, you will get true. This will this will reverse your actual output. That's it. Identify operator. I hope you got clarity on this operator. We have more 8 minutes. Next, we will go for if-else conditions, conditional statement. We're done with operators. If you want me to explain one more time, like brief introduction, just I will give quick recap. If anyone wants, just let me know. Before going to new topic, I want to make sure like you understand all these topics. If you have any doubt, just ping a message in Slack chat option. Yeah, okay. Next we will go for conditional statements. We have if condition statement. We will use this if condition statement to verify one situation. For suppose we will verify it's a true or not. After that, we want to perform some operations here. For suppose one, no, sorry, 10 less than one. Print. Yeah, this is the syntax for if statement. Just we will start if small if. After that, we will give one condition here. Condition. After that, colon. Press enter. Here we have to give four spaces: one, two, three, four. If you are using any Jupyter Notebook or VS Code or any Python, uh, those tools will take care about this indentation. Actually, this code will call blocked code. Like we have inside blocks. For suppose if is one of the block, for loop is one of the block. We will see this blocks concept in next sessions. As of now, I want to I want to share about this if statements. If space. After that, we have one condition. Maybe this condition may be assignment operator, logical operator. That may be anything. Just you want to check condition. After that, colon. After that, we'll go to new line. Then we will do our task here. Whatever the task you want to do, you will do here. Print or maybe call something, or we can call any function there. Explain. Yeah, we will take previous example only. Is raining equal to true? So if is raining equal to true, wear raincoat. For suppose we want to check it's raining or not. If it is raining, we have to tell wear raincoat. In that situation, actually this the value will come from user, or this maybe comes from database value. From database you will get this value. Forgot about this is raining. If is raining equal to true, you have to say wear raincoat. I will define this is raining in another section. Here is raining is a value you will get from user input, or maybe you will get from database. If this is raining equal to true, you have to say wear raincoat. This is a simple if statement. Just focus on syntax here. This is the from here is raining equal to true, right? This is the condition. when you are executing this code, this is raining equal to true will replace by true. Why? Because this will return a true. For suppose is raining equal to true. Here I am comparing here. This is not assignment operator. This is assignment operator here. I am declaring is raining variable with a true value. Now I am comparing here. I will get output as a true. Here this value will be replaced by true. So we will get this. We will execute this inside print statement. For suppose if directly you can give is raining, still you may think we don't have conditional operator here, just a given variable, but it is executing inside the if statement code. Not like that. When you are giving a condition here, when Python started execution this code, in behind the scenes is raining equal to true will replace by true. In same way, here we have is raining, inside is raining we have true, so that's why it's executing a print statement. Don't think we are not doing any comparison here. We are doing comparison. If is raining equal to false, it won't execute. Yeah, we're not getting any output. Why? Because is raining is false, so it won't execute below the code. Definitely this should be true, then only this will execute the if statement code. That is the purpose of if statement. Next we have else as well. This is the syntax for else. We can use else with only if is not there we can't use else. You can use simple single if, like without else you can run this code, but if you are using else means definitely there should be a if, then only you can use else. Here I will say no need raincoat. This is the syntax for if else conditions. I didn't give print here, that's why it's not printing. Yeah. First, this will try to compare this condition, it's true or not. Sorry. Uh, Inside is raining. We have false now. Now we set to this false, so it's not raining. So we no need raincoat. If this is true, this will execute this first statement. Otherwise, this will go for else block. We will call this as a block. This is a if block. This is a else block. If condition is true, then it will execute if block. Otherwise, it will go for else block. This is a simple conditional statement if else. In next session, we will go for further advanced if else statements and if elif statements. We have multiple conditions. In that situation, how we will compare multiple comparison, how we will execute that code. We'll see these topics in next sessions. That's all about this conditional statement. This is the basics of if else condition statement. Just try to practice on yourself these comparison operators. Whatever the class today we discussed it, this is a very important class when you are dealing with assignments or you are giving a written test for any company. Definitely you will get questions from assignment operators and this if else statement. There's a chances of getting more questions on these statements. Just try to practice and improve your coding skills. In next session, we will have some question and answer session. Like I will give one question. You have to type answer here live only. Just I will give one question. You have to type in chat answer of that question. In next session, we will do that. That's why I am telling today. Just practice these comparison operators, if else conditions. We will be having that question and answer session for 20 minutes, not more than that. After that, we will discuss new topics. Before going for further advanced topics, I want to make sure like you understand all these topics. If you didn't understand any topic, you can ask me tomorrow or in next session or now as well. So we will discuss with some problems, some question statements. Yeah, that's all for today. If anyone having doubt, just ping me. I think I'm good to end this session. I'll share this notebook in my WhatsApp group. I will update these examples and description values. After that, I will share in group. Yeah. Okay. Bye bye.